What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, Pete's Carport. Welcome back to our drift build car, aka Frank, short for Frankenstein. And the last video you guys got to see, I went over the car, told you guys I was contemplating on selling it, trading it off. Kind of still up in the air, but I pulled the car out and kind of had my visions rebirthed, I want to say. I really got another strong desire to get this car done so that I could do what I really wanted to do. And the reason why I picked this car up is I wanted a drift car. I wanted to be able to go to the track, and I wanted to do it in the near future, and I wanted to be able to drift a car and have a lot of fun with it. And there were a few different cars that I had kind of thought would be good platforms. And then I came across this car for sale. I picked it up. It wasn't that expensive. And I've done quite a bit to it. And I picked up quite a bit of stuff to do to this too. And you guys can go back, check out those videos. If you just look through my videos, you'll see we've done a lot of things to the interior, getting it ready to drift. I went ahead and put new tires on it just so I could roll it around. And now it's time to get this car running as good as we can. One of the main things when I purchased this car, and you will see this in a second, is it has a very long start, and it's gotten way worse just from sitting around. Now, I've had it for roughly 4 months or so and probably started it 10 times. And so I want to blame myself. Now, one of the main things that goes bad with these vehicles, other vehicles as well, is a fuel filter. So we're going to start there, and I think that's what's going on with it. I think the fuel filter is just clogged. Old fuel got into it, probably varnished up, and we just need to change it out. So I'm going to go ahead and set the camera up, start the car so you guys can see how it starts in case you're having this type of issue with your car. Our other SC actually will stall while driving, and we believe it's the same thing. So I went ahead and picked up a couple fuel filters. We're going to put the one in this 96, and then Xavier in a few days is going to bring his over, and I can update you guys in a future video how that affected his car. So let's go ahead. I'll set the camera up. We'll get her started up, and I'll let you guys see how long it takes to start this and how it kind of starts and stalls, and then we'll change out the filter and see if that fixes our issue. So stay tuned, guys. Alright, just so you guys know, I had to put the pedal to the floor in order to get it to start. That's why it revved real high up there, because as I was holding it down, it was barely keeping it alive. When I let up on the gas, that allowed more air and fuel to kind of combine, and it kind of revved. Now that it's started, it will stay started, and it will start to idle really nice, and it will drive really nice, but it's that initial getting to the warm part. Also, yesterday was a lot colder. Today's probably high 70s right now, mid 70s. Yesterday was in the 40s and 50s, so it was a pretty cold day here in Tampa, Florida. And I couldn't get this thing to start I actually killed the battery, then had to jump it to get it started. So it's a little better today. So hopefully this fuel filter change out will fix the problem. I'm gonna go ahead and get it up in the air, and we're gonna change out that filter. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this set up. We've got our new filter here. And this is a CarQuest 86319, in case you need to get that. And I picked that up. I think I paid like 12 bucks for it because I had a couple coupons. You got a 19 mil that you want to hold on the end here. It's the same as the stock one on the car, or whatever's on there. It could have been swapped out. And then your actual pipes are going to be 14 mil. You want to use a pipe wrench if you can, because this is not the actual proper wrench. Your pipe wrench is more of a box. and that's going to allow you to hold on to the actual nut a little bit better. So it's located right here, right up under here. So if you're looking at just jacking up your car, it should be really easy to access if you jack it up from the driver's side. I backed it up onto some ramps, and I've already been up under here. So what I did was I sprayed it down with some penetrating lubricant or WD-40, whatever you got. I recommend doing that first unless your car is very, very clean and you don't need that. So really, what we're gonna do is hold our wrench like that, and then we'll have our 14 mil on here, and we'll just loosen that up. This is gonna start most likely pouring out some gas. So we're gonna put something up underneath here. My tank's pretty low. I planned on changing this out and adding 5 gallons of fresh fuel. That way I can cycle in fresh fuel and not clog the filter up again. And hopefully this will allow it to start better. So let me go ahead and get this done. Hopefully that helps you guys out on where to remove it. Let's pull this off and I'll update you guys. Okay, as you guys can see there, it's dripping pretty well. And all I did was barely loosen that up. So I wanted to say, make sure you grab yourself some gloves because it can get really nasty. You don't want to get any of these chemicals like gasoline on your skin. And so make sure you wear protective gloves and protective eyewear. And something I always want to mention is if you jack the car up or you even just put it up onto some ramps, make sure you got the car in parked, e-brake up, and or in first gear if you got a manual like me. And make sure you chock the front wheels and you use jack stands if you're jacking it up. So always be cautious. You never know what can happen. But just wanted to show you how much flow of fuel you're going to get, and there's really no way to stop that. So I'm going to go ahead and finish taking this off and slide the new one in there and show you guys how that goes in. Alright guys, so this thing is really gushing out, so definitely be careful. Luckily I'm very low on fuel, so I highly suggest that you wait till you run down on fuel. Now what I was able to do was get this ratchet wrench on this end. Once I got it loosened, you can see I'm splashing gas, so be very careful. Make sure you got eye protectant on. And the other end, I already was able to get it loose enough, holding the wrench on the other end to keep it secure. And now it's just coming off, and I think I'm right towards the very end here. So I probably, yes, I can pull that off. But you can see this gas is just continuing to flow. So be very cautious. Now let's take our filter out here. Fuel looks a little dirty, nothing crazy. Let's go ahead and get our new filter, and I'll clean all this up. If you get gasoline everywhere, absolutely take a hose and make sure you wash everything down really, really well. Alright guys, just a quick fill-in on some things here. I just wanted to make sure you knew that the in comes from the gas tank, and the out, which these are labeled, is going to go to the front of the car. So that direction there, in, out. Also, I went ahead and tried to put this up in there and accidentally cross-threaded this side because of the way the angle of the pipe goes when you finally get it in there. So, the guy next door, like I said, I have a nice mechanic next door. He went ahead and found a bolt that fit in there, which happened to be a Mercedes bolt for a rim. And he went ahead, if you can see that, and made me a tap and die basically, and I was able to rethread that end. So if you ever run into that issue, it's really easy to make a tap that you can actually redo the threads. It's working perfect. I'm gonna get it back up in there, tighten it all up, and start the car up. Alright guys, so fuel filters in, change out was a success. Unfortunately, it did not fix the issue. Now keep in mind, the first time you start it up after changing the filter, you are going to have a delay in start due to the fact that you got to build pressure back up and you got to allow the fuel to get to the motor. So do not think that just because it's not starting right away, that wasn't the issue. I wanted to tell you, I planned on changing this fuel filter out no matter what, just due to the fact that I got the car, I didn't know a lot about it, the car sat. You never know how old those filters are, how long the car sat prior, or what type of fuel people were putting in there. So it's a good starting point. I even looked at the fuel that came out of that filter, and it was not terrible, so I kind of had a feeling right away that that wasn't going to resolve it. Also, I wanted to get to this part in a later video, but these engines are kind of a mess when it comes to vacuum lines. There's tons and tons of vacuum lines, and I wanted to sit down with a vacuum line diagram and start chasing down some of these vacuum lines. And So I figured I'd just throw this on the end of the video. I know you guys have been so helpful on a lot of things. Anyone out there that knows a lot about these cars, these engines, I'm just finding random vacuum lines. This one here was actually sitting down in there, and I was trying to figure out, does it go there? But it's got two lines on the end of it, and it's got a plug in it. So it's got to do something, and it could be causing my start issue. And then I've got all sorts of vacuum lines. I'm pretty sure, and I could be wrong, I'm pretty sure that these are all vacuum lines. All these ones sitting up here, and once again, I could be wrong. Those could be something that a wire's clipped to, but I know this car has a crazy amount of vacuum lines. And I'm not afraid to say that I don't know a lot about the 2JZ engine, but I'm also not afraid to learn. I really enjoy the engineering side of motors and learning new things. So any of you out there that can fill me in, and maybe you caught it right away when you saw me trying to start the car, you knew what it was. I know, just doing a little bit of research, it could be multiple things. The idle valves, all sorts of things. It could even be mass airflow sensor. It could be, you know, all sorts of different things. I might need to basically adjust the actual idle. But if you guys are familiar with these cars and you know, please fill me in. But I'm going to probably start back onto playing around with the different vacuum lines and stuff like that, and just taking advice from you guys in forums. So once again, my name's Pete. This is Pete's Carport. I really enjoyed doing this because I got this car out the other day, and I got excited about it again, and I can't wait to get it to basically start right up. Now, the crazy thing is, once it does warm up, it actually drives and idles perfect. So that's a strange thing to me. You know, a lot of times with vacuum lines, it will give you an issue even after it warms up. So let me know in the comments. Once again, my name's Pete. You guys have an awesome day, a blessed week, and I hope to see you back.